Good morning from an icy Johannesburg. I've got the gas heater going in this room. I've got the fireplace going in the lounge. I love this time of year for all of its coziness, and I find winter quite romantic, but I am freezing. This is a vlog that I am so excited to finally be recording. We are well into the planning phase of a new renovation. I have bought a townhouse recently in Johannesburg. I've sold my old flat and I'm buying a townhouse that my mum will be moving into, which is super exciting. And this really is, as I've alluded to a little bit online already, it's just a change of scenery and a change of energy. It's a bit of a creative pursuit, and for want of a better description, a silver lining in the world at the moment. I'm finding, as so many people are, things are tough. And I think this is completely a distraction, and such a welcome one, and a very unexpected one, but a really welcome one. And I'm so excited to go through this journey. I've got loads to learn, as I think any project is. It's a learning curve and there are always new things and new challenges, but this is a space that I absolutely adore. I love anything home and DIY. I love design challenges. I love solving space problems. So the little unit that I've bought is 124 square meters. It's small, but I think that through some clever design, clever planning, clever choices, we can make it feel spacious, make it feel modern, desirable, inviting, and all of those things. So I'm going to take you on that journey with me, and today I'm going to show you a few of the bits and pieces that I've ordered. I did an Amazon haul recently, which all of my bits and bobs have arrived. I'm very excited. I'm going to talk you through what I ordered, why, and what the process was like for me. I get loads of questions on Instagram about this because I think ordering from Amazon is not commonplace in South Africa, so I will chat you through my experience, the pros and the cons. I'm going to be showing you some before photos because I don't have keys yet to the flat. We're still waiting for transfer to go through. All I can do is show you some images, which I'm going to. It is very much a renovator's dream. Read between the lines. But I almost prefer that because I wanted the opportunity for us to be able to stamp our own kind of mark on it, to make things our own according to the way we live. So also much more cost effective buying a renovator's dream than buying something that's completely renovated already and often not to your taste, which means you have to do work again. So I'm all for the having to imagine things and get stuck in from a reno perspective. I'm also going to be heading through to Blackheath this morning. I am going to be working with builders for a couple of parts of this project, particularly the bathrooms. I've managed to source most of what I need for our bathroom overhaul from builders, which is awesome because I really don't have the time to be running around to a million different retailers and spending hours and hours online. I'm, for now, project managing this myself. So if I can use any one-stop shops and get as much done just through one source as possible, the better. So for now, most of my bathrooms are going to be renovated or completed through bits and bobs from builders, which is awesome. I have a relationship with them already. They are a brand partner. We've worked together in the past, so I'm very excited about having them involved in the bathrooms and hopefully a couple of other spaces as well. But I found out recently that they have bought, in collaboration with private property, an apartment in Blackheath that's been completely renovated, gutted. They turned it around in 6 weeks. And this morning I'm going to be meeting the project manager, Shinaaz, to pick her brain, to see what was done. I've also got some before footage of the place before it was gutted, so that you can see the transformation, obviously from before and after. But I'm going to be chatting to Shinaaz just about her top tips from a project manager's perspective, what to do, what not to do, and how to be smart on a budget, especially where a small space is concerned. So I'm super excited about that because this completely applies to me and the world that I'm in right now and the headspace that I'm in, where all I can think about is reno, budget, Excel spreadsheets. Can be a little bit terrifying at times, but mostly exciting. So I'll take you along that journey as well. And what I am excited about is to see some of the products from builders in situ. I think it's not always easy to get a total idea of the items online. And I've spent most of my time online, to be honest. I haven't had the capacity to go in store and to spend hours in store, although I will be doing a big, hopefully a big store visit soon where I can just spend hours somewhere and just pour through it all. But you sometimes want to sense check and make sure that what you're seeing in the flesh is what's represented online. And I'm going to be hopefully using some black sanitary ware in the bathrooms, and I do believe that this flat has incorporated that. So I'm really excited to see the flat with all these bits and bobs installed, to see what they managed to achieve in 6 weeks, which is pretty tight. So that gives me some hope, because I'm also under very similar time constraints. I'll walk you through that visit this morning to show you some of what's available at builders at the moment. They've got some really, really cool bits. I really do need to get in store so I can show you. For example, they've got the most beautiful black paneled or black framed shower door, which I'm going to be incorporating. I'll include a pop-up here, because such is the magic of video editing. I'll show you my bits from Amazon. I'm going to be including some pop-ups of my mood board and what we're trying to achieve in the different rooms. I will show you some of the products that I've already ordered, which I'm really excited about. Some I'm just going to have to give you reference images here, and I do have a box that I can then show you from Kalley Flooring, who I'm going to be using for my vinyl flooring installation. And I might as well just get to it. Let me just check my notes. I think this is a perfect opportunity to show you some of the before photographs of the apartment. As I said, very much a renovator's dream. This has not been touched since 1995, so it's extremely outdated. It's quite closed off and blocky, and very much separate kitchens, separate rooms. Obviously over the past decades, the open plan trend has happened, which made for a lot more flow and exposure of different spaces and different rooms. So one of the major spaces that I'm going to be overhauling here is the kitchen, which I'm really excited about, because for me the kitchen is absolutely the heart of the home. It is a room that's important to so many people, so it is the one room that I'm really spending my time, my energy and my money on. I think in terms of budgeting, it is one of the spaces that one needs to really budget for. It's probably one of your more hefty capital outlays, especially because of the fact that you're using timber, you may be using Caesar stone tops, fancy cookers and things. So it does become quite an expensive space, but I do believe that it's worth it, and I want to create a space that's just inviting and clean, modern, and that you want to spend time in, and that people want to come and congregate to when someone's cooking a meal. That's the vision. I'm going to be working with a local Johannesburg-based carpenter and kitchen manufacturer called Jigsaw Collective. I very much knew what I wanted from a design perspective. I designed the kitchen myself, and then working with Dean from Jigsaw Collective, we have solved some of the more technical issues. He's obviously given me his input. We've tweaked some of our dimensions after lots and lots of poring over reference photographs, talking about hopes and dreams, jotting down our must-haves and our absolutely do not wants. We've come to a place in a design that I'm so happy with. It's really efficient from a space and a storage perspective. For example, we've taken the cabinets all the way up to the ceiling, which they currently don't go to. That makes no sense to me when people don't utilize that height. We're making a really awesome stacked appliance space. There's going to be a nifty skinny pull-out cabinet for brooms and some of your more unsightly cleaning products, allowing for a double sink because a single sink is my biggest bugbear. We are also going to be allowing for a slightly bigger fridge, which I think accommodates a bigger family, and we are breaking down a wall. I think that's the biggest structural change that we will be making to the apartment, is this wall that currently divides the kitchen from the lounge and the rest of the flat. So this is going to be the heftiest change, but I'm super excited about it just because it's going to create so much flow, and it's instantly going to modernize the space. We will be including an island. It is a galley style kitchen, so it's long and thin, and we have to utilize two edges. But bringing an island slash, well, not island, it's not really an island, it's sort of a counter space at the front where the original wall would have been, is going to add some seating and essentially turn this into a U. One of the items that I just had to have was a white Caesar stone top. The whole kitchen is going to be white. with gold accents. I want it to be feminine, I want it to be luxe, I want it to be classy, and for me those were a couple of non-negotiables. I was quite specific about the gold hardware, which is why I've ordered those bits from Amazon. I'll show you those in a second. I also wanted to utilize some really special local tiles to create moment, like when I say moments, I mean moments, as a backsplash and as the area behind my stove. The stove I've chosen, and this again, like one of the bigger, but for me like must-have items, is a beautiful white Smeg 6-top gas cooker, just to go with the whole look and feel of the rest of the space. And above that stovetop and above the sink, and on the left-hand side of the galley kitchen, I'm using the most beautiful raked white tiles from a local Durban-based company called Kalley. Again, I'll include some visual references here, but they are just magnificent. I get so excited about tiles. I know I'm a geek, but I absolutely adore ceramics, and I'm just picturing this thing coming together and having those little tiled moments with these beautiful finishes. Super excited about. I think this is a good opportunity to segue into what I ordered from Amazon, because I just think sometimes we don't have a massive variety when it comes to finishes. We can get we're getting access to more in South Africa, but I think there still is quite a lot lacking, especially where you're looking for very specific features. Now, there was one item that I've never even seen locally. I didn't know this existed until I started my hunt. So I knew that I always wanted a gold kitchen tap. That gold kitchen tap for me, and here's a reference, is a moment. It's really special. I wanted it to be a feature and I wanted it to be standout. I did battle to find them. They exist in South Africa, but not all over the show. And so I thought, let me have a look on Amazon and see what I can find. And oh my gosh, guys, boy oh boy, did I find the most magnificent kitchen tap. I am a total geek because this is the stuff that excites me. So this is the way it came packed. It's actually not that heavy, really flat, and quite compact and nifty. So just bearing in mind that there will be a weight attached to the bottom, which keeps this part kind of pulled into the top so it doesn't dangle like this, but it allows you to swivel and to move, to spray your plates and things. But guys, here's the kicker. This beautiful gold kitchen tap is touch activated. So you can turn the water on or off just using any part of your body. So if you've got your hands dirty because you've been prepping food, you can just go like this and the water will go on, and you press it again and the water stops. What is the sorcery? I don't know about you guys, but I didn't know that this thing existed. This was my biggest expense on my Amazon shop and on my haul, obviously because it's the most technical. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but there's a little diagram showing you the touch activation. Obviously this is the most technical, was the most expensive, and it wasn't something that I wanted to cut corners on, so I went expensive. I read all of the reviews, and it looks good. Obviously it still needs to be installed, so that remains to be seen. If you're curious about how that touch activation works, it's actually battery operated. So just beneath where you install the kitchen tap, under the basin, there is a little socket, for want of a better description, that includes batteries, and those get replaced. When that battery runs out, it just functions as a normal tap, so it's not going to impact the use of the tap. But if you remember, and if you use rechargeable batteries like we do, you just replace those, and then it allows you to just touch the tap. I love that because I hate touching my tap with dirty hands. So this is the guy that I'm the most excited about. So 2 sets of my kitchen cabinetry will include these beautiful semicircular gold brushed handles. These are very much, so when they're together they look like a round circle. These are very much moments. Again, I don't want them throughout my kitchen because then I think it just becomes too much and overbearing. The only element outstanding here is actually the tiny little gold brushed bullet knobs, which I'm going to be using as handles. That was the only item of the whole haul that actually arrived incorrect. They did ship the wrong product, but as I've now subsequently learned, the returns process is quite straightforward with Amazon. So it's for free. You schedule your DHL collection, they collect it, and they either refund you or replace your item. Obviously I've chosen replacement because I still want them. So not too bad. I was sort of expecting more mistakes in this order, or problems with the order, and that was the only one, which I'm pretty happy about. So hopefully it doesn't take too long for those to arrive. That's on the topic of delivery time. This whole haul, I think, took about 3 weeks. I will include the key dates here just so you can get a gauge for how long it takes. Some of the items didn't all arrive at the same time. They actually arrived separately, or they arrived in 2 different lots. My semicircular gold handles arrived super quickly. I don't know why. The rest came ahead of the scheduled time, so I think it estimated a month. And they came yesterday or the day before, so that's about a 3-week turnaround. But I just want to show you the kind of things that are really inexpensive on Amazon and are just difficult to find here. I'm all for supporting local artisans, but not everything is available. And sometimes you know that they've imported it anyway and then they've just added a crazy markup. So one of the items I've ordered is a pack of these gold S-hooks. This is a gold, just a straightforward gold bar that's going to be going where the extractor fan would be. It's going to be above the stove like that. And my vision is that using these gold S-hooks, it'll allow us to hang some pots and pans above my beautiful white smeg stove and those corky tiles, just to like really, again, create something beautiful, feminine, and a magic moment. Turning cooking into something that someone just really wants to do because you get to cook in such a pretty space. And then just a few other little bits and pieces. These were some more brushed gold sort of wall hooks or knobs. These are going on a space that I've designed to hang things like a dog leash, your keys, maybe even your handbag. As you come into the kitchen, I wanted to make sure we'd allowed a space for that because I think it's something that gets overlooked and you don't always want to dump that stuff on the counter. So I ordered these beautiful, simple gold, little gold wall hooks. Those are exactly as were pictured. One more set of hooks to show you. These are really sweet. They are J hooks that I wanted to use above the sink for your cloth and for maybe a wash brush or something like that. They don't have holes for drilling. They come with a fixant, a sealant, to attach this straight onto the wall wherever you need it without having to drill any holes. Actually quite a nice option if you ever want to add a little detail like this but you're renting and you're not allowed to drill. I'm all for sort of temporary fixes like that. These I just thought were beautiful. I would have been happy to drill, but they don't require it, and they're really, really lovely. I think one of my most frequently asked questions on Instagram is surrounding the rates, the taxes and the duties on shopping on Amazon. And why I love shopping via Amazon is because it's all calculated at checkout. There are no surprises. You're not going to get a phone call from customs or the post office asking you to pay thousands of rands. It's all pre-calculated, so you know exactly what you're in for. You make that payment at checkout on Amazon, you give your ID number, and then often customs will email you after a week or two to ask you for your ID number and any other documentation that's missing. But I just love that your expectations are managed up front, so you don't need to proceed with that cart if you feel like it's too much. As far as I'm concerned, the duties and the taxes are calculated according to different categories. I'm really no expert, but certain items are taxed higher than others, so it really also depends on what you're ordering. I do believe there are certain items that are even zero rated, which means there are no duties on those, although I do think those categories are few and far between, unfortunately. But I found with this experience at least that even if I take this kitchen tap as an example, the tap price plus the duties was still, and to bring it in, was still cheaper than the nearest equivalent, and the local equivalent didn't have the touch technology. So for me, this was quite a worthwhile exercise, because if I were to find this gold faucet or kitchen tap locally, I'm looking at 2,300 Rand upward. So that was a saving. The knobs and these little bits were pretty like for like in terms of what I could find at places like Handles Inc., but the local equivalent weren't quite the same. Some of these are a little bit more sort of nuanced and a little bit more refined, which is exactly what I was looking for. So don't stress about the duties and the taxes. It's all there upfront and managed before you have to pay, so you know what you're in for. What I also love is that the items are shipped to your door. They do not go to a post office where they may be stolen, such as the reality of life in South Africa. Unfortunately, they are couriered to your door via either Aramex, DHL, and you are updated throughout that process. I've had items received within a week of placing my order on Amazon. Some have taken, as this lot was, 3 weeks, but never normally more than that, which I don't think is bad at all. One last point on the Amazon topic, and then I'm going to move on, is just around which store to order from. I shop both UK and US stores. This haul, for example, I shopped via the US store. I don't know why. I've shopped off both function equally and are both good. So just a nice resource to know about if you're looking for something specific that you can't find locally. I want to talk about another really great online offering which I stumbled upon, and this is Kalley Flooring. Kalley are a Cape Town based flooring business. Kalley Online, which is their online subsidiary, allows you to order a sample box of the flooring you're looking at for just 60 Rand. I love this option because, again, I didn't want to be schlepping around trying to find flooring solutions, trying to leave the house as little as possible. I've got 2 small kiddos and a busy life, so but it's still something that you want to touch and feel, and I think being able to put it down in natural light in front of you to get a better idea is really important. We're going for vinyl. My mom has pets, and it's pretty hard wearing. We didn't want to go for natural wood. Unfortunately, wood's also just pretty pricey, so we've gone with a beautiful color called Golden Oak from Wanabiwood. It's funny because when I saw this online, I felt like it was the one, but I was nervous to just choose one and to make that call. I wanted to see it alongside some others, and it's definitely the right option. It's got a warmth to it that I love, but it still has cool elements of grey with a beautiful wood, natural wood look-alike finish. So I'm really glad I went through this exercise because it put my mind at ease. I now know what we're doing for flooring. It's going to look magnificent. We're taking it through most of the house, bar the bathrooms and the kitchen. What I also subsequently have realized that Kalley Online do is they can custom make carpets to any size, so rugs, sorry, not carpets, rugs, to any size, down to the millimeter. They can also take any print or design as a reference and match it and create a bespoke carpet. So if you're looking to get creative in a space with quite unusual dimensions and you want to pull in something a little bit unique, maybe, borrowing a texture or a pattern from a headboard or from a curtain, they can create a completely bespoke size and design rug for you. You can also order sample boxes of carpets and rugs from Kalley Online, so that's a really nifty option. And I mean, this was just 60 Rand. It was really straightforward. I think it was delivered within a day, so great service there. In terms of the rest of the townhouse and the reno, one of the major things we're going to be doing is smoothing some old stucco walls, which are really disgusting. You know, those like bobbly, popcorny ones from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I don't know when they're from, but there's a special place in hell for those. Quite a big expense, quite a laborious task because they do need to be prepped, primed and rhino lighted to smooth, but it's a non-negotiable for us. We need smooth walls just to, bring it into the current decade. I think clever use of paint and color can also completely transform a space and make it just feel lighter, brighter, painting the ceilings, making it just all feel new and fresh, which I'm looking forward to doing. And the rest, is just opening it up, putting new skirting boards in, modernizing it where we can, changing knobs. What I'd also love to do, there are 2 windows currently in the lounge and the bedroom that are only windows. I would love to open those out, put aluminium sliding doors in, and to open that out into the garden, put a deck down. I want to open that space up to allow some flow, put the deck in, and I think it will make for a really nice entertaining space. My mom has the most amazing green fingers you've ever encountered, so I know that in time that garden's just going to come to life and become a jungle in its own right, which will be wonderful. That's it in a nutshell. I think I have spoken to most of the bits and pieces that we're going to be doing or planning to do. I am sure there are going to be snags and delays along the way, as is always the case with renos. I need to leave, I need to get to Blackheath, and I'm looking really forward to seeing this show flat and to see what's possible on a budget in a short space of time. So let me take you along with me. Here we are.
Hi, I'm Shinaaz Osman and I'm the project manager for the Ready to Renovate project. The project came about in April of 2021, and what the brief was is that we could do any changes using Builder's Warehouse product, but we were not allowed to do any structural changes to the home. And so the project in essence was supposed to take roughly about 2 months. We had an additional extension of 2 months on the project because we ran into a couple of snags along the way, as projects naturally do. When taking on a renovation project, my top tips would be ensure that you have a mood board as well as an end in mind. So I think that's important, just to start with where you're wanting the project to go or what you want it to look like. My next top tip would be ensure you have a budget and make sure that your look and feel, your mood board, as well as whatever you're hoping to achieve, obviously goes hand in hand with that budget. That's what I'm referring to. In addition to that, what I would say is that what I've come to learn in renovations is that it takes 3 times longer, it's going to cost you twice as much, and you only need to do it once in your life. With regards to ensuring that you get the look and feel that you're wanting to go for, but on a budget, what my best advice would be is buy good quality stuff. So don't go out and buy quantity, because quantity doesn't necessarily equate to quality. If you buy a few good quality items and they're beautiful, your home will come together exactly as it's supposed to be. Because the trends these days is pretty much going with living a more functional, minimalistic type of lifestyle, but still having a beautiful space at the same time. And you can achieve that by having items such as plants implemented into your home space. So they do bring in an element of more natural life within the home. They make the home a lot more cozy. I would suggest you also look at things like throws and cushions, which are a lot more cost effective. They bring texture as well as coziness and warmth into a home. So those are like smaller items that you can buy that are cost effective, but they still bring in and make the space beautiful. The one thing I would suggest is that anyone who's trying to embark on a renovation, it's probably important to consider getting a project manager on board, because what this then does is it alleviates a lot of stress for you as the person who's trying to get this home renovated. You probably have your own day job anyway, and it does take quite a bit of time going to do the shop, ensuring that everything runs according to project, so it becomes a full-time job. And if you don't have the luxury of that type of time, I would suggest you include it as a line item as part of your project. So if you don't have the luxury, or if you're not able to afford to have a project manager, my best suggestion is to ensure you have a fantastic contractor. Your contractor here would be key and of ultimate importance. So you could use apps such as Monday.com or Excel to keep your project on schedule. And so what you would need to ensure is that you have all the detail of the project on this particular document, and then just keep everybody abreast of what needs to happen over a particular time period, and then just make sure that the contractor is also fulfilling that duties and responsibilities. And if for whatever reason, the project's not going according to plan, and that you actually accommodate for all of that as part of this project. With us all trying to either, live in smaller spaces because we're downscaling, my suggestion is that when you are planning, you plan the spaces out properly. Plan according to the way you live. So my first suggestion is to declutter your home. It's most important to try and live with less. But if you don't necessarily have the kind of personality, what I would suggest is that when you are making these changes in your home, ensure that you use storage in a clever way. Ensure that whatever you are putting into the home is both functional, beautiful, and it then accommodates your needs within your home. One of the tips I would suggest or give to you is that let's use an example as a kitchen. When you are building or putting cabinetry, ensure that you put the cabinetry up until the roof, because there really is no point in having the gap between where the cabinetry ends and the roof. Firstly, it collects a lot of dust, And secondly, it obviously gives you an opportunity that you could have used for storage or additional storage in that particular space. So my top tip is that you ensure that you paint the home. It's definitely the most cost-effective way to make a big change within the home environment. With regards to color, you can always bring in color into the home with other accents, whether it be your curtains or your throws or your cushions. But if you paint the home, it definitely adds a different feel to what it would have previously looked like. And it's certainly the most cost-effective way to do it. With regards to flooring, we're still very much going with the Scandinavian theme, where we've got wood flooring, we've got white laminated flooring, we've got more natural elements such as cement flooring coming through. And the reason for that is that it makes the home feel lighter and brighter versus, very dark or colorful tiles. You are also able to do more when the floor color or shade is lighter and brighter within a home. With regards to tiling, the trend very much is not to go with your straight lines. It's very much in keeping with things sometimes being a little imperfect. And so with our kitchen in this particular home that we've gone with, we went with a more herringbone style. We've also gone with a hexagon tile in the bathroom, and over and above that we chose 2 shades for the bathroom, which was white and black. And you would notice that we didn't place the tiles within the shower in a very orthodox or conventional fashion. We chose conventional tiles and we just placed it differently. So we didn't go with a conventional way of placing the tile, and it made such a huge difference to the look and feel of the apartment. And I think it's important for the way we are moving forward is to not look at things in such a linear fashion, but to perhaps go out, be creative, place things in a different way, and you'll be quite astounded as to the result you will get. With regards to lighting, there's so many options at the moment that you can go with, and so many ideas that you can go with as well. Is that I think what we need to do is we just need to unchain our minds and get a little more creative. And in our home, as an example, we used some outdoor lighting with inside the home. And here again, just play around with texture, play around with looks and feels, and don't be afraid. I think we're really in a space with the Scandinavian theme to play around with different textures and colors and shades and shapes to be able to do all of that. So sometimes you would have, had a conventional light that you would have placed in a particular area. Be creative and place it in a different part of the home if you feel or you wish to do so. It'll still be safe. Of course, definitely, speak to your electrician or your contractor about the idea, but don't be afraid to play around with these type of ideas. If you have the luxury of having a garage within your home, I would also suggest that you make that space as part of your home, because a lot of the times it gets overlooked and it really does form part of your home. And so my suggestion here again is to make sure you paint the floor as an example. Again, it'll add in an element of it looking beautiful and looking slick and clean, making sure that the walls are painted and that they're smoothed out, that there's ample lighting within the space, that it's not cluttered. If you do store a lot of items within the garage, make sure that you partner with somebody to come out and organize the space perhaps, so that it again, still looks, because it's an extension of your home. And so if you're going to have a beautiful home, it also needs to ensure that that part of the home is beautiful too. In our garage, what we went with again is we've added beautiful lighting, we've added the flooring in, or we painted the flooring out. What we also ensured is that we varnished off the door. We made sure we placed in additional cabinetry within the space, but it was very open, or we chose a very open cabinetry within that space so that we could also add in additional storage if need be. We've added spaces for gardening tools as well as some of the key home items. If you don't have space for your brooms and your mops, etc., we've added all of that into the garage as well, so the home becomes less cluttered, so that you have specific spaces to store your items.
Well, if you got all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I know there's a lot of information here, loads of references. I'm going to try my best to link everything and to timestamp everything in the comments or in the caption section below. It would really mean a lot to me if you'd leave a comment, like and subscribe. As you know, I'm very new to this learning, but it's such a great creative avenue and I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So bear with me. Please do engage. Let me know if you've got any cool ideas or any things you'd like to share. If you've been through a renovation, let me know what you would have done differently, or the things that you did that you're so glad you did. It's always nice to learn from people who've been through the process as well. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the Reno ride.